In the heart of Dehradun, shrouded in the dense embrace of ancient forests, stood the Dev Bhumi Institute of Technology, a prestigious institution of learning known for its academic excellence. Yet, despite its reputation, the college was enveloped in an air of mystery and foreboding. In the remote wilderness of Dehradun, surrounded by thick, ancient forests, stood the Dev Bhumi Institute of Technology. Despite being a beacon of education and modernity, the college was enveloped in an aura of mystery and unease. Far removed from the vibrant energy of city life, the campus seemed isolated, almost forgotten by the outside world. The dense woods surrounding the institution were home not just to wild animals but also to whispered legends of the supernatural. Tales of strange sightings and eerie occurrences had long been part of the college's lore, passed down from one generation of students to the next, each adding their own embellishments. It was in this unsettling environment that a group of 7 students would find themselves embroiled in a nightmarish encounter, one that would forever change their lives. The evening began like many others, with a group of friends, Jiwan, Anuj, Priya, Vikram, Rohan, Rahul, and Kartik, gathered in their dorm room, eager to unwind after a day filled with classes and assignments. They had managed to procure some potent weed, a rare treat in their secluded setting, and after sharing a few joints, they decided to embark on one of their favorite nocturnal escapades, a trip to the Sudhawala Dhaba. This local eatery, known for its mouth-watering dishes and late-night service, was a popular spot for students looking to escape the confines of campus life. The journey to the dhaba was a 7-kilometer trek through the dark, forested roads, a path both thrilling and terrifying in equal measure. Laughing and joking, the group set off, blissfully unaware of the terror that awaited them on their return. The walk to the dhaba was surreal, as if they were moving through a dream. The intoxicating effects of the weed dulled their senses, turning the usually ominous forest into a place of wonder. The moonlight filtered through the dense canopy of trees, casting silver beams that danced on the forest floor. The group, emboldened by their high spirits and the safety of numbers, felt invincible as they strolled along the narrow, winding road. When they finally arrived at the dhaba, they wasted no time in indulging their ravenous appetites, ordering plate after plate of the establishment's finest dishes. The small, bustling eatery was filled with their laughter and banter, the air thick with the aroma of spices and sizzling meat. Anuj, always the jokester, even suggested ordering chicken tikka for dessert, eliciting a chorus of amused groans from his friends. With their hunger sated and spirits lifted, they began the journey back to their college, unaware that their light-hearted adventure was about to take a dark and sinister turn. As they retraced their steps through the forest, the atmosphere around them began to shift. The jovial mood that had accompanied them earlier faded, replaced by a growing sense of unease. The full moon, which had previously bathed the road in gentle light, now cast long, ominous shadows that seemed to reach out towards them. The trees on either side of the road appeared to close in, their gnarled branches twisting into unnatural shapes that clawed at the night sky. Priya, sensitive to the changing energy, shivered and commented on how the darkness seemed to have deepened, as though the night itself was closing in around them. Vikram, ever the skeptic, tried to reassure her, pointing out that there were 7 of them and nothing could happen to such a large group. But his words did little to quell the rising tension, and soon the group found themselves sharing ghost stories, each tale adding to the creeping dread that hung in the air. It was then that they noticed something strange ahead on the road, a thick, white fog that seemed to materialize out of nowhere. The fog was dense, almost impenetrable, and completely out of place on what had been a clear night. The group hesitated, unsure of whether to continue, but curiosity and the desire to get back to the safety of their dorms drove them forward. As they approached the fog, something even stranger occurred. A tiny flame flickered to life in the middle of the mist. A matchstick had been struck, but there was no one to be seen. The flame hovered in the air, casting an eerie glow, and then, as if by some dark magic, 2 cigarettes appeared, their tips glowing red as if held by invisible hands. The cigarettes puffed in unison, their embers bright against the ghostly white fog, creating a scene that was both surreal and terrifying. Jiwan, his voice trembling with fear, asked the others if they could see what he was seeing. They all nodded, their faces pale, but none of them could look away from the bizarre sight before them. The fog thickened around them, the air heavy with the acrid scent of cigarette smoke, a smell that now felt menacing and out of place. Despite their fear, they continued to walk, their steps slow and tentative, as they approached the floating cigarettes. Just as they were within a few meters of the apparition, one of the cigarettes suddenly dropped to the ground, scattering sparks across the road. The sudden movement startled them, but they pressed on, their hearts pounding in their chests as they tried to get past whatever it was that lurked in the mist. As they reached the spot where the cigarette had fallen, the fog began to dissipate, revealing a sight that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. There, sitting by the side of the road, was a man, but not an ordinary man. His body was slumped over, still as a corpse, but where his head should have been, there was nothing but a cloud of smoke. Thick, black smoke billowed from his neck, as if his head had been replaced by the smoldering remnants of a fire. Vikram, his voice barely above a whisper, urged the others to keep walking, to ignore the figure, and not to look back. But Rohan, who hadn't seen the man, turned around in confusion, his voice breaking the tense silence as he asked where the figure was. His loud question shattered the fragile calm, and in a blind panic, the group broke into a run, their feet pounding the pavement as they sprinted down the road, desperate to escape the horror that lay behind them. They didn't stop running until they reached the safety of the college gates, their breaths coming in ragged gasps, their faces ashen with fear. Only then did they dare to look back, relieved to find that no one had been left behind. Without saying a word, they hurried back to their dorm room, their bodies still shaking from the terrifying encounter. As they gathered in a room, they recounted what they had seen, each of them describing the same horrifying figure, a headless man with smoke rising from his neck. The reality of what they had witnessed began to sink in, and the group found themselves unable to sleep, their minds replaying the nightmarish vision over and over again. The dawn eventually broke over the campus, but the light of day did little to dispel the terror that gripped the hearts of the 7 students. They had set out that night in search of fun and adventure, but instead, they had encountered something far beyond their understanding, something that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. The man on the road was no mere ghost story. It was a terrifying reality that they could never forget, a chilling reminder that some things are better left undisturbed in the dark corners of the world. Years later, as they looked back on their university days, the memory of the headless man remained a haunting reminder of the supernatural forces that exist just beyond the realm of human comprehension. It was a story they would never forget, a chilling chapter in their lives that served as both a terrifying experience and a profound lesson in humility before the unknown. In the end, the tale of the man on the road became more than just a story. It was a testament to the enduring power of fear and the uncharted mysteries that lie hidden in the shadows. For the 7 students of Dev Bhumi Institute of Technology, it was a night they would carry with them forever, a reminder of the eerie and inexplicable forces that sometimes cross into the realm of the real, leaving behind a legacy of dread that lingers long after the darkness has receded. And that concludes today's eerie tale on Horror Echo. I hope you found this story as spine-chilling and captivating as I did. If you enjoyed the journey into the unknown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more thrilling horror stories and unsettling encounters. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and reactions in the comments below.